What up? It's your boy T-Burn Reaction. Today's Music Monday. So about to get in the video from the homie L Train from Luke Kitchen as well too. This is based off one of the most iconic and somewhat forgotten drum break that's used heavily in hip hop as well too. That's none in Skull Snaps. If you're not familiar with it, it's based on a lot like Steezo, My Time, I think it's My Time. Is on Take It Personal, I think, and many other too. It's that it's kind of like that. It's hard to explain, but that drum, that drum break is always a icon hip hop, especially used in the '90s as well too, during the boom bap era as well too. So I want to take a look at this video called how the Skull Snap Forgotten Break became one of hip hop's most sampled as well too, though. I can't wait to see you do the joint on what was it, LS, whatever name is the UFO, whatever, the UFO sample from the ESG. I can't wait to do that, unless he did it already as well too, though. But other than that, without further ado, let's check out behind the scenes of this forgotten but iconic drum break in hip hop. Let's get it.
You've heard this break before.
Yeah. Yeah.
A record that went almost completely unnoticed when it was released, only to be sampled over 600 times in the years that
It's crazy always hearing the story how these songs would be unheard, these original breaks be unheard of until hip hop samples using it though.
Followed. But unlike most of hip hop's famous breaks, it wasn't discovered by DJs in the early breakbeat era. It was unearthed years later by a rapper who stumbled across a copy in his neighbor's suitcase of old records. So how did It's a New Day by Skull Snaps become one of the most sampled breaks in hip hop? Our story begins in Maryland in the 1950s, long before hip hop was anything more than a pipe dream. Sam Cully grew up surrounded by music, in a family where singing and musicianship was simply part of everyday life.
The whole family was about music, singers. And
so the band name is Skull Snap. I think the whole song is called Skull Snap. You see? Yeah, that's the name of the band. Okay, that's interesting.
Musicians. My uncle was Frank Florshow Cully.
Nice.
And I had that to drive me. I really wanted to be like him.
That environment pushed Sam to get involved in music in any way he could.
I taught myself to play keyboards. I played in church and I had little bands and things.
Those early years were all about learning how to play, how to sing, and how to work as part of a group.
Once I got up to maybe 17, 18 years old, I started a band called the Jays in Maryland. Timothy Wilson from Tiny Tim and the Hits.
Oh.
We started out together. I was playing and singing, and we had a kind of a duet thing going on.
It was during this period that Sam crossed paths with Irv Waters, beginning a musical partnership that would quickly become more serious.
Nice.
Before long, Sam and Irv became part of an already established vocal group.
We all left Maryland at one time, and we became the Diplomats.
Alongside Bill Collier and Tom Price, the Diplomats were a group with big harmonies, choreography, full show band energy.
That Diplomat sound that you hear, that came from being in church. It also came from us being in glee clubs in school. Yeah. That's why we have that sound, strong and tight harmony. Most guys were out hanging out on a Saturday night. We would all be in a car somewhere trying to sing those close harmony things.
They worked constantly playing clubs and theaters up and down the Chitlin circuit.
We played all the little Chitlin circuits, and we played all the theaters that were around the country. The Apollo Theater loved us. We looked around on the stage and looked in the wings. There'd be Otis Redding, The Supreme, the biggest names in show business, watching how we perform.
And along the way, they released singles like Unchained Melody.
Okay.
But by the late 60s, the musical landscape was shifting, with disco starting to take over.
When the disco thing came in, we were sort of pushed to the side. We wanted to continue doing what we'd like to do.
So Sam and Irv decided to strip things back. No choreography, just instruments. Then one night in Queens, they met a drummer who would completely alter their course, George Bragg.
He said, can you come and see me at the club? Bring your instruments. We went to the club. The club was packed. And he says, could you guys just come up with me and just play one song? We did this without no rehearsals or anything. The thing just snapped. George just took the music down and said, excuse me, I'd like to make an announcement. You two guys are fired. I just hired 2 other guys.
Wow.
Little did they know it at the time, but this moment would change the course of their career. With the trio now locked in, momentum started to build quickly. Word spread through New York clubs, and before long, the group found themselves being passed along to the right people.
A friend of ours, Al Germany, he was DJ on BLS. He introduced us to Lloyd Price.
Lloyd Price was already a major figure in American music, a hit maker, label owner, and someone with real industry weight. But before anything could move forward, there was one thing they needed: a new name.
Lloyd was very interested in recording us. Then he said, well, we have to have a name. My experience just seeing you guys perform, you blew my mind. He said, you just cracked my skull. I said, wow, that really sounds good. Can we just flip that and go for Skull Snap?
Around the same time, producer George Kerr entered the picture.
My friend Lloyd Price came to me and said he had this group and he wanted me to produce them. He said, I'm going to name them the Skull Snaps. And I said, you're going to name them what?
It was a bold change, one designed to grab attention. But as a label owner, Lloyd was already thinking about the full picture.
He showed me a drawing of these skulls with the little bones going one way and going the other way. I said, Lord, what are you talking about? He said, I just got this concept in my head.
This wasn't a vocal harmony group anymore, nor was it traditional soul or straight funk. With that identity finally locked in, the next step became inevitable. They needed to make a record. That decision pulled them out of New York and into a small, barely functioning studio.
The album was actually cut in Somerville, New Jersey. At Mr. Tony Comello's studio. It was just being built then, and we were the first ones to record in it.
Almost nothing about the studio was finished, but by chance, that half-built room came with the right person behind the desk.
By accident, we met this great engineer called Ed Stasium. He's done a lot of productions for a lot of great people, but we got him first.
At the time, he was young, learning as he went, solving problems in real time.
They were great guys, and they're really funky, and I didn't know what I was doing.
What Skull Snaps cared about most was preserving the same sound and feeling they had on stage.
What we did to tune up in the club, the drummer started playing, and we started tuning up as he played. That's what we did live.
And it was that live approach that shaped the entire session. The material was a mix of songs the band already had, alongside ideas brought in by producer George Kerr. One track in particular would come to define the album. It's a New Day, which was a reworked version of Hey, What's That You Say by Wood, Brass and Steel.
Listen to me.
Reshaped specifically for the Skull Snaps.
He brought the song, It's a New Day. He started playing the drum beat, and then we started playing the song.
Here we go.
It wasn't as simple as pressing record. Before anything else, they had to get the sound right, starting with the drums as Ed Stasium recalled. I had at most 3 mics on the drums. We ran everything through a Teletronics LA2A. It was one of the last ones they ever made. But compression was only part of it. The kit itself had to be shaped.
The drum itself was actually a 12-inch snare, which gave you so much more pop. Hit hard. We were tuning up and miking the snare. It sort of rang a little bit. We took a wallet, taped it to the head of the snare drum, took the face off the bass drum, and packed it full of quilts and all
I know. I always wondered. I saw drummers do that for a while. I always wonder about that though. Why drummers did that as well too. I remember I seen drummers at church did it. They always wonder why they did that. Yeah, that's interesting to find out why they did it.
Those things like that right there. That's when we got the sound that we wanted.
With the studio still unfinished, they had to improvise with what they had. Something Ed Stasium would later remember clearly. There was a closet we converted into a reverb chamber. The sound depended on the weather. When it rained, it changed. Those limitations shaped the sound of the record. A smooth, soulful mix of funk and soul, driven by groove rather than studio gloss. At its center was It's a New Day, opening with a raw, stripped-back drum break that felt almost exposed. But just as quickly as the album came together, it disappeared. In the US, there was little promotion, then the label folded. However, it managed to find an audience elsewhere.
The album had been sent out, and somewhere it got in the UK. When the UK got the album, they blew blew this album up. Every song on the
You always gotta love the
album
UK exposure, yo.
hit.
The record didn't disappear completely. It was just sat quietly waiting to be found. By 1973, a new culture was forming in New York. DJs isolating drum breaks and shaping what would soon become hip-hop. So it would make sense if this record had been discovered then. It wasn't. Its second life wouldn't begin until well over a decade later, in the late 80s. And the first person to stumble across it wasn't a DJ at all. It was a New York rapper named Dooley O, who, while searching for records to sample, asked a neighbor if she had anything old lying around.
I've seen Miss Brown one day, and I asked her, did she have any records? She had this suitcase full of 45s. Do you see this Skull Snaps record? Looked like a rock and roll record or something. We don't know what it is.
At the time, it was just one of several records he picked up that day. Nothing that felt especially remarkable.
When we get home, we listen to it. I thought it was cool. I didn't think it was something, a phenomenon or nothing like that.
But there was something in that intro, so Dooley passed it on to producer Chris Lowe, asking him to loop it up and turn it into a record. That track became Watch My Moves.
Slow down.
Oh, okay.
Recorded in 1989, but not officially released until years later in 2002. So here's the twist. Dooley-O's cousin Steezo was also a rapper, already bubbling, already with label attention.
Crazy.
He flipped the loop and created his own version.
Extra, extra, read all about it. It's me, Steezo, that has been doubted.
Steezo then got big. Me and him started arguing over Skull Snaps.
Oh, wow.
Because when he let me hear it, I was just like saying to myself, yeah, man, that's a fucking hit.
One of the reasons that record hit so hard was the work of engineer Paul C.
They would bring these beats
R.I.P.
up
Paul
to Paul,
C.
and Paul would thicken them up. He would enhance them. He was a master at sound.
That enhancement, heavier, louder, more bottom, became the version people heard first.
Paul C was one of the first engineers to enhance that sample and basically put some bottom under it and made it louder and heavier.
But leaving the drum intro so open had consequences.
Only thing that really was whack about it is that he left that drum beat open for the world to sample. The next thing you know, Gangstar got it.
Yup, take it personal.
Undermine me and backstab me, but
I know a lot of people sampled it from Steezo first, and then they figured out what it was. Next thing you know, it's a worldwide phenomenon.
Once producers got hold of it, it was game over. While the original Skull Snaps record was still hidden, the breaks spread fast, powering records by The Far Side.
Yup. Yup.
Das FX. Camp Low. Grave Diggers. Countless others. But as much as producers loved flipping Steezo's version, digging culture always led back to the source.
90 was the resurgence of everybody trying to find that record. We all went record shopping together. It would be like Q-Tip, Pete Rock, Buck Wild, Kid Capri, Showbiz, Lord Finesse. We will all be in there early buying the records.
And the funny thing is,
I wonder that marketplace they always talk about that the guys, all the like hip hop producers came together to grab the stuff too.
One suitcase of records in Miss Brown's house. Alright, time for a quick break before we move to the next part of this story. Here at Loop Kitchen, we cook up melodic, soulful samples, the kind that pair perfectly with classic breaks like It's a New Day. And here's one we made earlier.
Ooh, okay. That's tough.
And if you want melodies like this to sit under your favorite breaks, check out our sample packs. Right now, all the packs are buy one, get one free with the code SKULLCRACKERS. If you just want to test the waters, we've got a few free packs you can grab too. And if you're a producer, beat maker, or music lover looking for a community, come join our Discord. We host regular beat battles, we share samples, and it's just a friendly space. And the links to all of those are in the description. Since its rediscovery in the late 80s, It's a New Day has been sampled hundreds of times, quietly becoming one of the most enduring drum breaks in hip-hop. But it wasn't until the album's reissue in 2006 that the story behind it finally came into focus. Sam Cully, Irv Waters, George Bragg, three musicians behind one of the most recognizable rhythms in hip-hop history.
That record is the type of record that'll make anything sound good. anybody that sampled it is gonna enhance their track. I've never heard nobody really just ruin the break, because that's just how funky that record is.
And even now, producers are still finding new angles in it.
Yep.
Artists like K-Tronada have been pulling something new from the same source.
Wow. Oh, this joint. Oh, okay. That joint's tough.
That was barely noticed when it was first released has since taken its place in the pantheon of hip-hop breaks.
It won't die. They're still sampling it today. It's been sampled by 700 DJs and rappers.
Wow.
It's been sampled by everybody that is anybody in the rap business.
And if you want to see more stories like this, check out our Behind the Records series in the playlist on screen, exploring the producers, albums, machines, and samples.
Cool. Definitely a good story behind this, for real, man. Definitely a good story as well, man. Like, I like it. Other than that, though, definitely check out more from L Kitchen if you haven't, Luke Kitchen, you haven't already. If you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.